I always talk about the auditory and the visual media. I really appreciate the time that people have spent being engaged in this particular topic. I do think we have a quorum, so I will ask the Secretary to please call the roll.
Senator Byrd. Senator Givens.
Present.
Senator Meredith.
Present.
Senator Schickel.
Present.
Representative Burke.
Here.
Representative Elliott. Representative Proctor. Present. Representative Witten.
Here.
Co-Chair Weber.
Here.
Chairman Douglas.
Present.
This is the seventh meeting of the Certificate of Need Task Force, and the first item of business this morning is to approve the minutes from November 20. Are there any questions, or do I hear a motion for approval? Do I hear a second? Thank you very much. We do have approval and a second. All in favor, please. We don't do individual. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Great. It must be Christmas time. No one wants to say anything. Again, I'm a simple guy, so I just want to remind everybody of why we are here in the first place. There was a memorandum that came out, and there was a lot of question about certificate of need here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, whether we should continue or whether we should do away with it. So I want to actually go back over what we were charged to do in this committee. We were charged to review Kentucky's Certificate of Need program, including the state health plan and related statutes. We were charged with reviewing the need for maintaining or modifying certificate of need for each health service currently covered. And we were also charged to submit findings and recommendations regarding certificate of need to the Legislative Research Commission for referral to appropriate committees and jurisdiction. We began to meet in this 10-member task force. One of the things I want to do, first of all, is thank all the members on this task force for your due diligence and for your participation in the task force, as well as the ideas that you have submitted and the time that you have committed, not only here, but away from this task force. I want to thank all of you all for that. I also want to thank our staff who helped walk me through all of this. They are just absolutely wonderful, talented, and professional people. And I really want to thank you all for that, as well as my co-chair, Representative Weber, who has spent a lot of time pondering things about what we should do and how we should do it. And I just want to make sure that all of that gets said. The 10-member task force began meeting in June 2023. And we heard testimony from several individuals, from stakeholders, from agencies, and even from the written public. The task force will submit the following findings and recommendations to the Legislative Research Commission for consideration. We've done that to the LRC for consideration and referral to the appropriate committee or committees. And again, those recommendations are based on the testimony and the information provided during the task force time. It is important to know that the findings do not include independent research by the Legislative Research Commission. Findings were broken into two particular categories. One is that certificate of need laws limit competition by protecting incumbent providers and creating a burdensome approval process for establishing new or expanding health services or facilities, and that there is little evidence that certificate of need laws control cost, improve quality, or ensure access to health care. The second or opposing side seem to say that or position is that healthcare delivery service does not participate in a free market system. And thus, certificate of need laws are necessary to control costs, improve quality, and ensure access to health care for all people in all geographic areas. The existing certificate of need program may be improved with modification for some healthcare facilities and services. So those were really the two conclusions, the two sides that were presented when we took a look at all of the data. There was a recommendation made. The recommendation suggested that the task force recommend that further study may provide additional information to guide statutory and regulatory changes in Kentucky's Certificate of Need program. I would like to further add, as chairman, these things. I would also suggest that a similar or a new Certificate of Need task force be reconvened in 2024. This is a very, very broad area and really affects the entire business of medicine and healthcare. And whether we want to talk about it that way or not, the changes that have occurred over time have forced medicine to become a business. And those of us in the business know that. There are a lot of people outside the business who don't see it that way. They simply see it as delivering health care. Unfortunately, the economy and all the other factors don't look at it that way. I think recommendations can be made by listening to more information, or at least taking the information and taking a deeper look at who and how it's going to affect people. I do think we need to look what components need to be continued, or what components need modification, or what components need to be eliminated on an individual basis. This particular task force took a lot of time just understanding what certificate of need was. I've been in the healthcare space now for over 37 years. It was a short run for me, but it was a very long run for many of my colleagues here in the General Assembly. And I think that we really need to be conscious of the changes that will occur in our healthcare system here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the broader implications that will occur when those changes that occur. I think also we need to try to anticipate in a more empathetic and understanding way some of the unintended consequences that might occur and how we will deal with those unintended consequences. I don't like running to fires and putting fires out. I prefer to anticipate when there is a situation where a fire may occur and address those things ahead of time. We're talking about people's lives here. We're not just talking about a system where someone goes to the hospital. This is very serious. And so I'm not one of those persons, and the people on this committee are not people who want to rush to judgment and make rush changes. And I think I can speak for the people on this particular committee when I say that we all seek to provide the most expansive opportunities in the healthcare space here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But we want to make sure that we do it in a way that works for everyone in the Commonwealth, regardless of whether they are in an urban setting or in a rural setting. We want to make sure that we are responsive in that particular space. Now, with that being said, I'd like to ask if there are any questions or comments about the memo. Senator Schickel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to just put a few comments on the record, if I may.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the two co-chairs for this task force, and I want to thank our Senate leadership for assembling it. I think there's a tendency to not maybe appreciate how far we've come on this issue. I've learned from this task force, I always knew it, but it really showed me glaringly the difference between the urban and the rural problems in health care and how the solutions maybe are very different for urban and rural. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking at in the future. I also just want to put on the record that I believe now more than ever that we need certificate of need reform. I'm going to continue to be an advocate for this issue in the future, and I look forward to participating in the discussion.
Thank you, Senator Schickel. Are there any other members of the task force who would like to make comments regarding the memo? Very quiet. Nice smiles. With that being the case, is there a motion to accept the final memo? Motion made by Senator Meredith. Do I hear a second? Second. Have a second? Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Byrd.
Aye.
Senator Givens.
Aye.
Senator Meredith. Senator Schickel.
Aye.
Representative Burke.
Aye.
Representative Elliott. Representative Proctor. Representative Witten.
Aye.
Co-Chair Weber.
Aye.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. With that being said, we will accept the final memo. Again, the final memo will be uploaded to the Legislative Research Commission website. It will be under task force meeting. It will be on the task force meeting materials page. I encourage everyone to continue to familiarize yourself in this particular space. This is extremely important to the people here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I again want to thank every individual member on this task force. When this task force was started, I got a lot of comments from a number of people who said I wouldn't want to be on that task force for anything. And to be honest with you, I never understood that. Never understood that. We're here to serve the people of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. That is why we are here. And it is an honor to have an opportunity to do that. And you all stepped up. Senator Meredith?
Speaking of service, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mark this very momentous occasion, in that this is the last legislative meeting of your co-chair, Representative Russell Weber. And I just want to thank him for his 11 years of service to our legislature. I know the folks of Bullitt County really appreciate his work. We're certainly wishing the best going forward, Russell. Appreciate you.
Once again, Senator Meredith, you beat me to that particular punch, and I appreciate that. Are there any other comments that anyone would like to? Okay, Senator Gibbons.
Thank you. I want to weigh in just very briefly to the two co-chairs. Thank you for guiding us through what has been a fascinating, as Senator Schickel indicated, a fascinating literature review and position review and educational experience as it relates to CON. One shout out that I want to also do is to our staff. as they have helped us navigate and produced a document. If you look at this thoroughly, and I've got mine marked up, there's a roadmap forward here to wrestle with this issue in ways that I think can benefit every Kentuckian. And the staff has done a great job of summarizing the presentations. They've used the word "and" in critical places. If you look at just a summary of what NCSL presented, the intent of Certificate of Need laws is to control healthcare costs by avoiding unnecessary expansion or duplicative services and ensure access to services in all geographic areas. Just the use of the word "and" there, Senator Schickel, lays the foundation for exactly what you've said. We've got to balance the interest of urban and rural areas to do the best for all citizens. So kudos to our staff, to you two as co-chairs. Well done, well done. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And with that being said, I would like to take this opportunity to wish all the people of the Commonwealth of Kentucky a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year as this meeting is adjourned.
Merry Christmas to you. Senator Meredith, do you know when they plan to release the committee schedule? It has? Okay. Just trying to schedule. Okay. Okay. Hey, Marianne. Marianne, do you know if on the house
I try to be